what I hope to be incredible race here in Canada with the Valiant Racing League. It's round 8 for the Thursday night league, and before we get into tonight's race, I do want to just quickly say, do check out the description below. I want to just announce that very happy to say this is that the Valiant Racing League is going to be sponsoring me. My name is Nat Craig, and I'm going to be doing a what they call the Pause to Play challenge this year for the Blue Cross. My donation page and just to find out about the Blue Cross is down below. Make sure you check it out. But back to today's race, as I just quickly mute everyone to make sure we're ready to get going. So, Canada Circuit de Gilles Villeneuve, what can I say? It's always bring a very interesting race. I think we saw Brendan Hartley and Lance Stroll have a massive scuffle. I think it was in 2018. But of course, I think the one that everyone remembers is 2011, where he had probably the best race, I'd say, of one of the modern eras. In Jenson Button winning from last place, but not just last place twice. He got in a fight with Hamilton, which obviously meant Hamilton lost his front wing and ended up crashing out the race. Button ended up going to the back of the grid because of a drive-through. He then got in a fight with Alonso and punctured his tyre, which meant he went back again. So it meant when the red flag came out, because of course it was changeable conditions, it meant that he suddenly was finding himself starting the red flag at the back of the grid, fought his way through and managed to win the race. It was incredible. But let's have a talk about the guys we're seeing on the grid today. So last time out, Jonathan Cox came out on top. He's on a run, an absolute flying run in all the leagues this year, and he's doing really well. So he came out on top last time out. Then you had Drofter in second position, with Extremist in third. I think the one person I do want to highlight from the last race, though, is Walker. He's currently second in the championship, really trying to get onto the heels of Jonathan Cox, but also watching the guys behind him. He finished down in 12th position, which is a really difficult race for him, but hopefully he can have a better race this week. So in terms of the constructors, we have Alfa Romeo, who are currently out on top on 156 points. Williams in second, say, with 147, very close to Alfa Romeo, and then Mercedes in third on 110. But I think we're going to have what is hopefully going to be a very, very good race. It's one of those races, as I said, that always throws up something. We've had a lot of first Grand Prix wins happen here, with Kubica, Ricciardo, and also Lewis Hamilton winning their first races here in Canada. I don't know whether we're going to get a new race winner here this time round, but it'll be certainly very interesting to see, because it's one that can throw up a lot. Of course, the circuit itself is an incredibly fast circuit. You've had that ridiculously long back straight with a DRS zone, as well as then a DRS zone straight after the Wall of Champions in the final couple of corners. It's always one that you can have a lot of overtaking happen, not to mention the DRS zone, the second DRS zone chronologically, but the third to mention along the back of the circuit, which if you get a bad exit through that chicane, which we can currently see on the screen there, you're just going to really struggle on that DRS straight. You're going to lose about 3-4 tenths just on the exit of that corner. Of course, we do have the infamous Wall of Champions in this race, in this circuit. It is the last corner. The reason why they call it the World of Champions is because 13 drivers have gone into it and had an accident there, and that all includes the likes of Michael Schumacher, Damon Hill, Jacques Villeneuve, Jenson Button, Sebastian Vettel. Of course, they changed it, I think, in 2014 to make it feel a lot safer, I think, with the new current regulations of cars. They're just going very quickly. You really don't want them going high speed into the right hand side of the wall. Let's look about the possibility of rain here as well. Of course, you can see it's nice and bright sunshine currently, but that does not mean we're going to keep it like that. So we see some guys head out to the track for the first time. A lot of people are going out on medium tyres, which may mean that we're going to have a dry race. but it could just be they're just getting used to the track as well. We'll wait until the first person is out. As we see, it's Fugitive who is currently out on track. Let's change to who's on board. We've got everything set up now, so that's always good. So yeah, this, as we watch him through the outlap here, this is the chicane that you really want to be watching yourself on. You want to get on the power quite early and get a nice wide line. Of course, it's one of those circuits you get very close to the walls. And yeah, if you get a bad exit there, if you nab a wall at any point, you're losing a lot of time. And this is one of those circuits that pole position can be a matter of tenths, not even a matter of tenths, a matter of hundredths to say, between first and second places. It has been on the last 3 occasions on the Canadian Grand Prix. So rain is obviously likely. We've also got changeable conditions likely. So who knows what might happen. Obviously these guys are going to have a much better view of it than we do. So just check that my mic is on. So they're going to have a much better view of it. So we might see some people sort of coming out on just soft tyres and completely going for it. Maybe that's a sign of the fact that you see the Wall of Champions go by on the right hand side. Maybe that's a sign of the changeable weather conditions we might be seeing in the race. As in terms of tyre strategy here, I think it all depends on the climate. You're looking, as Fugitive gets very out of sorts on the first corner there, as Optics has now started his lap. Let's see if he's going to do any better. Going through this first sector, that's one of the corners that you can very easily corner cut and invalidate your time. Again, we're running strict corner cutting rules here, so it is very easy, I would say, to invalidate your time on any track. But on one of these where you're going so quickly, you're trying to get everything out of the car, it's quite often not corner cutting, but extending your track limits on the outside of a curve, as we see Fugitive completely invalidate his lap there. I think that was Optics hitting the wall on the right hand side there, which is a bit of a no-no. You do not want to be breaking your front wing here. Fugitive is almost getting in the way here. He's obviously on his fastest lap, but I think he probably has broken track limits. We may go up to him. Let's see. He hasn't, which is quite odd, but Optics is really trying to get past him. He's on his fastest lap here. He does not want to be held up too much. He doesn't want to have a compromised run into the last chicane. So you can see him here. He's gone through. He has then broken track limits to invalidate his time. His time would have been around a 1:10.6, so that might be an idea to see what everyone else ends up doing, to go on board with ThNR. Let's see how he does going through this last sector, going quite wide really on the right hand side through that chicane. You're almost cutting both corners, keeping it within the track limits. He goes for a 1:10.6, so Optics would have been faster than him. Let's go and see anyone else who's currently on their fastest lap. Broke Gorilla's currently on his, but I think that's a slow time. It is. He's invalidated his lap time, so has Spencer Milton as he goes into the back of Fugitive there. So Casey is on a fast lap. I think he's the first person to be on a fast lap going up to the final sector. No, I think it might be Fire. It is. As we see a Red Bull go across the line, I think that is someone starting their lap rather than ending it. As we see Fire go absolutely head first into the Wall of Champions. That is not what you want to be doing. I think, yes, it was Jake Lee starting his. Let's have a look. Casey is still on his fastest lap. He seems to have set a fairly decent first and second sector. Let's see where this lap gets him up there. We've seen Drofter go fastest, 2 seconds faster than ThNR. That is an incredible lap time. To see Casey go across the line now, he does look like he's in the 1:09. That is a good time. So 1:88 is currently the time to beat. Let's see what Jake Lee's currently doing. He seems to be the fastest person out on track at this moment in time. Of course, and I don't have the timing streams that a lot of people else, a lot of actual commentators have. Otherwise I'd be able to tell exactly who's on the fastest lap. So we see Broke Gorilla go third position on his medium set of compound tyres with a 1:10. That is quite formidable when you think about he's on the hardest set of tyres. He may be going faster than Drofter on his softs. We'll have to wait and see as we see Jake Lee go around the final corners. He has invalidated his time. That is a big shame. Let's see what it would have been. It's over a 1:10. I think he probably backs out of it going it through the final sector there. Let's see. Jonathan Cox is about to come around the final chicane. Let's see how he does. He's a very fast driver. He's on his medium compound tyre, so he probably won't be as fast as Drofter, but let's see where he can get on the mediums itself. It's a 1:08.9. It isn't as fast as Drofter, I was right, but only just. That is an incredible time from Jonathan Cox there. Let's see who else is on a flying lap. I think Callum Tyler's currently on one. He is in the Mercedes. It's it's Jonathan Cox's teammate, as we see him go very wide there. I think he has kind of messed up his lap there. He obviously caught the inside curb there. See LH44, he's invalidated his lap. And so has Jake Lee once more. As I said, guys, this is one of those circuits. Let's have a look at Codfish, see how he does going through the final corners. It's one of those circuits that if you just break it, you're probably most likely going to get through most of the lap without breaking it. And that final corner, if you break it there, you're not only invalidating your lap you're on, but also the next lap. And that could really screw up your strategy. You do not want to be going into the last couple of minutes as we see him get out of the way there for F7R Taylor. Let's see how he does. No, he's on his out lap. Let's see, is anyone currently on a flying? Walker is currently on his flying, but he's broken his track limits as well. Let's see, LH44 is on a flyer and he's on his soft, medium compound tyre, so this should actually be a fairly decent time. Let's see how he does going through this middle sector. Yeah, you can break your track limits right in the last corner. It's a very difficult corner to get right. Obviously, if you're used to using regular corners cutting, you can practically just straight line that chicane in career mode. But of course, we're running strict here. They've got to be very careful. This isn't an FIA stewarded event. It means that they're going to be very, very strict on the corner cutting rules. So we're going to make sure now. Let's see how they manage to do. How LH44 manages to do as he goes through his final corner. Is he going to invalidate the lap? I think he's going to be fine. He does go very wide and almost cuts the corner, but he does do fine. It's a 1 minute. I think it's going to be in the 1:09s. It is just about. It's a decent time on the medium compounder tyre for LH44. I'm unsure whether Jonathan Cox and LH44 are going to be wanting, unless he really gets displaced by someone on soft tyres, I don't think they're going to be wanting to go back out again. Starting on the medium tier is an advantage because it's most likely going to be a two-stop race. If it means you can save the two softer compounds for later in the race when everyone else is going to be on either hard or medium compound tyres, you're going to have such a benefit there. As we see, a lot of the front runners are out on their fastest lap. Optics has finally got on a clear run, but he has invalidated his lap. Let's see, is he going to go again for a second lap? He does seem to be pushing on this final little stretch here, so I think he will be. Let's see, is anyone else currently on a fastest lap? I think Walker, no, he has invalidated his lap again. Extremist and Callum are on their out laps. Spencer Milton here is on a faster lap. Let's see, he's right in the first sector though. I think he's just clipped the wall there on the right hand side. So easy to break your front wing here. You do not want to be risking that, and that's Fire, who has spun on the middle sector chicane. He's trying to obviously avoid going into anyone here. He's broken his front wing. He's not going to be happy. Let's keep on board, I think, with Drofter, who's currently on a fastest lap. He is going through the end of this middle sector. Let's have a look. I think so. Jake Lee's currently on a fastest lap. Extremist has just started his, so we might go to him next. Although I am keeping an eye on Walker, who's just gone onto soft compound tyres. Let's have a look as Drofter. I think this is a just a connection glitch more than anything else. Drofter is going for his fastest time here on a medium set of tyres, so if he manages to beat his current best, he's going to be quite pleased, I feel. He does break track limits there, which is a massive shame because I think he was on for a fairly decent time. Let's go down to Extremist, who I think he's out on his fastest lap at the moment. So this is his middle sector. He's gone fastest in the middle sector, obviously on soft compound tyres. Let's see how he does. I do have to comment that I am a big fan of the helmet design that Extremist has currently got on. It is the Neaum sort of comic book one, and I just adore it. Let's see as he goes round the final corners whether that beautiful bright green on his helmet is any lucky charm for him. It is a decent lap for a 6th position so far. So that final sector, he did seem to lose a fair bit of time if he's gone fastest. He's either lost it in the first or in the final sector there. We do not have the different sector times. As we see, Fugitive here is, I think, probably on his in lap. Let's see, is anyone currently on their fastest? I think that's... So Sakin Ben has... I do apologise if I mispronounce your name. I think he's on his fastest. Jake Lee is on his fastest. We'll probably stick on board with him. We know there's a Williams out front going out for their fastest lap at the moment. I think that is Drofter, who hasn't set a faster time once more. So Jake Lee now going across into the final little stretch. Let's see where his soft tyres can get him. It's a 1:10.1. It's a decent position, but it's not quite good enough to get him into the top 5, which I think is where he's going to be aiming for. Of course, the ones to watch out for in the championship at the moment are Jonathan Cox, Drofter and Walker. Walker currently hasn't set a fastest lap, so we'll go on board with him and see how he's doing. I think this is a slow lap. It might not be. I think he's just started it actually. So let's see if we're going to stick on board with him. I don't know if anyone else is currently on a very fast lap, so we'll stick on board with Walker as he goes through this middle sector chicane. There's a yellow flag up front, and that is a lucky ghost there for the McLaren, really. You do not want to be getting in the way of the fast runners here. So Walker goes through this end of the sector chicane. He keeps on the power, gets on it quite early as he goes through there. Let's see what his middle sector time is. It's a 41 seconds middle sector, so that is fastest so far. Let's see as he goes around the final, the big hairpin. He's going towards the final corner. It's massive back straight with DRS here. He's going to be using as much road as possible on the inside, then as much road as possible on the outside, just to maximise his entry into this final corner. He sweeps it in, doesn't break track limits, doesn't go too far wide on the right hand side. He's keeping on the left, on the right to make sure that he doesn't break anything. It's a 109, sorry, 2, and that is not a bad time. It's only 4/10 off the current fastest, but of course Jonathan Cox and Drofter set both of their fastest times on the medium compound tyres. Actually no, Drofter didn't, should I say. So currently, in terms of the top 3, the only one setting their, well, the only one starting on a medium compound tyre is Jonathan Cox, as Drofter goes out again on his soft compound tyres. Let's see how these guys do. Stinson is currently out. I think this is his fastest lap. It's a 1:10.2, so that's again not as fast as I think we expect from the likes of Stinson. I think he's very much expecting to be a lot higher than that. I'm unsure whether he just got a little bit of wheel spin coming out of one of the corners, or just didn't, maybe knocked a wall at some point. But I'd certainly expect him to be up there with the leaders in terms of fighting for that sort of like top 5 sort of positions. As we see, Fire managed to keep it together and get a 4th position. That is a very much good lap coming from him when he's struggled so much with traction in some of these corners. So he's done very well with that. We will see if Stinson is still setting a faster time. He is. He goes fastest through the middle sector. That's 9/10 faster than his previous lap, which is decent on a 1 lap old soft tyre. So let's see as he goes down this big DRS straight, can he really challenge the guys in the top 5? We're going to have a very fast race on our hands, I think, today, guys. We'll wait and see as he goes through this final corner. He doesn't break track limits, he doesn't go too far wide and break his front wing. He's got on the power nice and early. It is currently a 1:07.9, so on a 1 lap old soft tyre, which is not good for starting the race on, really. Stinson goes fastest. Drofter is currently on his outlap on a soft set of tyres. Casey's exactly the same. Fire, I think, is probably going to be coming in this lap, hoping to get back out for another lap. Optics is now setting a time as well. We will watch him with quite a lot of attention. I think he's the next person to cross the line, really, for a faster lap, as Casey starts his as well as Drofter. We'll go back to them in a second. So let's see, how does Optics do on this new set of soft tyres as he goes through the final corner? Let's see, doesn't get too wide, not as wide as everyone else as well, so obviously he's taking a little bit less speed into that corner as everyone else. So 1:09.0, that's a very good time from Optics there, gets him up into 4th position at the moment. We'll see Casey now, who's going through in towards the final sector as Walker comes out on a set of soft compound, new set of soft compound tyres. The only one not to yet come out in the top 5 is Jonathan Cox on that set of mediums. I'm unsure whether he's going to stay in and not risk not starting on the medium tyres. He's going to want that benefit, I think, in terms of long run pace, but we'll soon see as Casey now comes towards the final corner. Everyone's getting out of his way. He doesn't break track limits, he doesn't go too wide, break his front wing. Let's see as he comes across the line now. It is only a 1:09.0, again incredible time, but not quite enough to get him on that on the top sort of front row. So we'll go over now, I think, to Drofter, who's about to... Did Drofter set a faster time? I think he did. Only just, but Drofter set a very close to his previous time on that sort of soft new soft tyres. We'll see Walker now is about to set, I think, his fastest time. He's just about to start it. So let's see, can Walker hook it up now? Can he make sure that he doesn't invalidate his track limits like he's had before? We'll soon wait and see. I will keep my eye out for anyone else who we think could be getting vying for that sort of pole or at least top 5 positions. I'm looking at LH44 and we see Jonathan Cox now out on a soft set of tyres. So that's an interesting one. Jake Lee's also out on a soft set, so we'll go to those two soon as well. But Walker, he's going through this middle sector now. He does get a little bit, I'd say not greedy, but a little bit too much curb on the right hand side there going through that chicane. But let's wait and see as he goes through the final chicane, middle chicane there. So he keeps saying final of that sector. Right, he's going up to the hairpin now. He's gone fastest in the middle sector. He's about 5/10 up from his previous time, which would put him within around 3rd position at this moment in time. But that 107.9 from Stinson is rapid and doesn't look like many people can get close to it. It's a whole 5/10 faster than Drofter, but we'll soon see as Walker heads toward the final corner. Let's see what he can do. He doesn't go too wide and break his front wing as on the wall champion like we wanted to see. I think for a lot of people it's a 108.7. It is 5/10 faster, so it is 3rd position, but still not quite enough to get him on the front row. Let's wait and see if how. So LH44's also out. Jake Lee's currently on his fastest. I think, no, he's invalidated that lap. He's going to be wanting to go again. I think Jonathan Cox has just started his fastest lap. And then we'll go down to the likes of Jake Lee, LH44, and the extremist, I think, as Casey, I think, has retired in the pit lane. Just thinking there's no point waiting around. I can't set a faster time, so that's fine. Right, you see Jonathan Cox here go through the middle sector. He's about to go into another chicane before getting to the end of the 2nd sector. We'll see as he invalidates his time. Will he get, I don't think 23 seconds is enough for him to get round, as we see Jake Lee's also invalidated his time. Extremist is still on for 1. So is Taylor, and so is LH44 now. We'll keep our eyes on these guys, so I think we'll go to, so Taylor is now next, I think, to cross the line, as Drofter's has been disqualified. Why has Drofter been disqualified? That's an odd one. So that brings Jonathan Cox up onto the top 3 rows. Taylor there has knocked the outside wall of the hairpin. I will wait to see why Drofter has been disqualified. That is quite an odd one. So Taylor comes around the last corner now. He does seem to have a bit of aerodynamic difficulty going through there. So it might be going over then to the extremist, which I think it will be. He's the last person I think who can other than LH44 now. Actually, we'll go up to him first. So he's going to cross the line with a 108.8. That is enough to get him onto the top 3 as the extremist goes across it up to into the 9th position. So that's a very good result for him in the end. But it does look like, due to Drofter managing to get himself disqualified, and I'm honestly unsure as to why. Let's see if anyone says anything. I don't think anyone said anything at this moment in time, but due to that disqualification, it means that Walker and LH44 and Jonathan Cox have found themselves onto the first 2 rows of the grid, which is great, really, for them. Jonathan Cox obviously doesn't set a faster time on that set of soft compound tyres, so he will start on the mediums. Yeah. I honestly don't know. I'm currently waiting to see anything from Drofter to find out why he was disqualified. It does sound... It was very odd, to be honest. It was extremely odd, as we're currently waiting, I think, for... No, I don't think we're waiting for anyone to finish. Oh, there we go. Codfish, I think it was. So we're waiting to finish as Callum Tyler goes into the wall there. Yeah, I'm not sure why Drofter got disqualified, but it is a pole position by quite a while for Stinson, with Walker right behind him and Jonathan Cox and LH44 right behind them. It's going to be an incredible battle up front. You've then got Optics, Casey and Spencer all within a 10th of each other. Just behind them you've got Fire, Extremist Callum Tyler and Taylor all within half a second, and then you've got Jake Lee, Broke Gorilla, Codfish, Ice Dreams, Fugitive, DRSF1 should say. Drofter is then in 18th position and disqualified. I honestly am so confused as to why that has happened, but it's going to be a good race. I think there's going to be plenty of battles across the field. I'm really looking forward to the one between Fire and Extremist. I think that is going to be a very interesting battle. I think, of course, you've got the top 4 who are going to be really close to one another, and of course Casey and Optics as well in 5th and 6th. So I'm excited to see how this ends up going, and of course we don't know how weather might be playing an effect into this as well. Right. We'll have to wait and see. I'm just currently looking to see if anyone says anything. Nothing's been said at the moment. It means that obviously Drofter is still in the race. Yeah, we'll wait and see. Of course, we don't know what might happen with penalties or anything like that after the race, because we do have a stewarding system. But I'll make sure that next time you see Thursday night, you will know exactly what happened after the last race, with the little recap at the start. So we'll take some time just to reflect on Canada again. It does look very murky out there. I do wonder whether the rain is going to play a part in this. As I said, you had a lot of first wins here, but one person who never got his win here was Jacques Villeneuve. Of course, the track is named after his father, after he sadly passed away, and Jacques never managed to get a win here, which was quite astonishing, really, for Canada's only, I was about to say Canadian, Canada's only F1 world champion. So we see here now, these guys are now heading out for a formation lap. To those of you who don't know, the formation lap is vitally important to making sure your tyres stay, well, make sure your tyres are up to temperature for the start of the race. We've just seen there that it could be, for the soft runners, we'll get this ready for the start of the race. It could be a 4-stop strategy. So sorry, 3-stop strategy, soft, and then medium, which is a very interesting strategy, I'd say. And I wouldn't honestly predict many people to do it, but Jonathan Cox there, who's starting on the medium compound tyre, he's going to have an advantage. He might be able to go onto the softs and then onto the hards, but he's certainly going to be able to get go longer in this race. And of course, the one thing that we haven't currently spoken about is the effect of traffic in this Grand Prix. Of course, you have got a lot of overtaking opportunities through the DRS straight, but those tight little windy corners, you can be held up quite a fair bit if you're stuck behind traffic. So you don't want to be pitting too early, because the undercut may not be as strong in this Grand Prix, but we'll have to wait and see. Of course, this isn't taking into account any rain, any safety cars, anything unforeseen that we might not know is coming our way. As Stinson now lines up in pole position, we'll have to wait and see how long he's going to be waiting there, because Drofter does look like he's really hanging at the back at the there. So he might be losing a lot of temperature sat on the grid. I don't know how this start's going to go. Of course, Jonathan Cox may be losing positions to the likes of Optics and Casey with him being on medium tyres, but we'll have to wait and find out. I am looking forward to this race. I don't know about you guys, but I'm certainly excited to see how it goes as we wait for the lights to finally drop out. Here we go. So, with Walker in second position, is Stinson going to be nervous there? We've got 2, 3, 4, 5 lights. And we are waiting for quite a while. Now we go. There we go. Right, so Stinson gets away. It's a decent start from Walker. It does look like LH44 has gotten ahead of Jonathan Cox, which is good. But Coxie has just come up the inside there. That is a very, very good move there. He's going to be very happy there to have gotten ahead. But of course, we've got a yellow flag into the first sector. It does look like we have got every runner, apart from LH44, who's fallen back supposedly. which he has. I'm unsure exactly what happened there, but we will go up to these battles in the midfield as we've got Jake Lee and Broke Gorilla and Ice Streams here all fighting with one another. That's a big mistake from Broke Gorilla. We'll wait until the timing streams sort themselves out. Jonathan Cox is still in 3rd position. Optics right behind him in 4th. We'll go up to that one. Just for now, we will try and show you some battles throughout the field today, as I think this is now how this has now worked out. Casey's still in 5th position, but only just as Spencer's gotten off. That's a very difficult run there from Casey, who I think just lost 2 positions. Fire has got himself up into 6th position and now into 5th, right, getting well past Spencer there on the soft compound tires as he pits. Let's wait and see, as we see Casey's also pitted. It's a fastest lap, but I don't think that counts for now. This is Codfish getting up the inside here. Callum, is he going to go for the dive bomb? I don't think he is. Let's see how everyone else does. We've got ThNR Taylor right on the back of Ice Streams, as we see right in front of us there. Codfish has gotten a very good run on Callum, but I think he's had to back out of it. The medium compound runners do seem to be struggling a little bit, but as we see that Jonathan Cox has gotten past Optics, what has happened to Stinson? I think, yes, I have. I've missed Stinson dropping straight into the pits there. That's a very interesting strategy. I'm unsure as to exactly why, but that means now we have Walker leading the race with Jonathan Cox right behind him. We'll go down, I think, to Extremist, who's getting quite close to Jake Lee here. We're going to wait and see how what's happening behind. Fugitive has just lost another place to the newly pitted Stinson. Extremist and Drofter, I think, are going to have a fairly nice battle here. Drofter is using his overtake button to try and get past him, but I think Extremist with the slipstream of Jake Lee in front, as we see Ice Streams gets past Codfish, but these two are battling there. That was a very feisty battle, I think, going on there. We know that Extremist has gotten a very good line on Jake Lee there. I think Jake Lee had a very bad line through that middle sector, well, through that last corner, should I say, and he's just lost both positions to Extremist and to Jake Lee, and to Drofter. So they're now up into 9th and 10th, and Jake Lee's out of the points once more. Taylor is really challenging here Ice Streams. I think this is where the medium compound tyres have suddenly now warmed up again, so the pace is back there. It's one of those sort of races that if you can get in the second gap, your tyre difference is very minimal due to the amount of DRS zones that you have. As we watch here, I'm going to watch on board with Jonathan Cox, as he got very close in that last DRS zone to Walker. Let's see if he can get even closer with DRS here. Jonathan Cox is on medium compound tyres, remember, so this will be a monumental overtake if he can manage it. Walker out in front at the moment. He goes defensive on the inside line, forces Jonathan Cox wide, which means he can't overtake Walker going through that middle chicane. Jonathan Cox and Optics both get 3-second time penalties there for corner cutting, well, extending track limits, and so does Callum Tyler, who's now 4 seconds behind Spencer in 4th. We're going to go down to Taylor, who's right behind Ice Streams once more. Doesn't get anywhere with it. Stinson gets past the McLaren of DRS F1. So Stinson's once again making his way back up. I'm unsure whether he pitted due to tactical reasons or due to damage. He was out in front, so I'd be surprised if it was damage. We'll go back up to Optics, who seems to be getting very close here to Jonathan Cox. He's going up the inside. He's got a much better run. He's got a lot more traction due to soft compound tyres. Walker then covers the inside. I'm unsure if that was a contact on the left-hand side for Optics, but he seems to have once again gotten a very nice line. He's going to go into the lead of the race, going into this hairpin. Can he keep it coming out of it? We'll go on board with Walker, who seems to have backed off a little bit just to not run into the back of Optics, giving Optics the lead of the race. Obviously, that is with a 3-second time penalty currently, but we don't know what the penalties are going to be for everyone else by the end of the race. So we've now got Walker right behind Optics with Jonathan Cox right on his tail, and now Spencer Milton is also joining this battle due to the squabbling that has been going out front. So we'll go back to that in a second, as we see Codfish getting really wide and being overtaken by pretty much everybody behind him. Through that sector, as the Ice Streams diving up the inside of Callum Tyler. Callum Tyler leaves him absolutely no room on the inside there. I think Ice Streams probably had his front wing completely taken off there, as Callum Tyler just gave him absolutely no room. So this has now closed up this bunch again. Codfish is right in front of Stinson once more. He's managed to now get past with better traction. Let's see if he can get up to the back of Drofter, who we know is extremely quick, as we see more 3-second time penalties befalling the guys out the back, as we see Extremist is now right behind this pack through the DRS zone. It's going to be a bit of a DRS train here, especially coming round into the final sector. Let's see who gets a better line. Extremist gets a much better line than Taylor. Let's see if he can make anything work into this hairpin. He doesn't. Let's see if he gets a better exit, as he's got a different, much better line through the hairpin, but he doesn't get anything through there. Jonathan Cox has now moved past Walker quite easily with the DRS. We'll go back down to these guys who are now all in this DRS train. It doesn't look like any moves are going to be happening anytime soon, but we can say that there's only 5-second difference really between Drofter and Stinson, who's already pitted, and the front runners. So that is an incredible amount of time to make up. He's made up almost 20 seconds, Stinson has. Let's see what he can do on these only slightly, but still slightly newer, medium compound tyres. He has benefited from a few people messing up down the field. As we see, Extremist is still on the tails of this little pack in front. Callum Tyler, Codfish and ThNR Taylor. That's going to get difficult. Yeah, so that looks like a very difficult run there from Taylor through there, but Codfish has gotten a worse one. We'll keep on board with Codfish, I think, because he's going to be stuck in a sandwich there. He can't really be getting up the inside there, can he? Yes, he can, as we see Spencer Milton get past Walker. I think this is where these soft compound tyres are really starting to lose a lot of grip. So FR7 gets past Callum Tyler. Codfish is back behind both of them, as Callum Tyler now goes into the pits on these soft compound tyres. Extremist now is up to 9th position and Codfish in 8th. This battle for the middling points is going to get quite feisty, I feel, as we see IFR Stinson is right behind Drofter. We're coming up to a DRS zone as well. I wonder if he can make any moves going through this DRS zone. They're both on pretty similar tyres. Obviously, there's another 3-second time penalty there for Codfish. Obviously, there's 1 lap difference, but I don't think that's going to make much of a difference when it comes to traction. He isn't close enough in this one, but let's see as he goes to the next one. But we'll go up to Jonathan Cox, who's only within now. Oh, is he within 5 tenths? He goes very late on the brakes there with Optics. That's going to really compromise his exit, and he does. But he's still, I think, gaining a little bit on Optics. He's not going to gain enough, I don't think. We'll go back on board with Stinson, who is very close indeed to Drofter here. I think Drofter knows better than to try and fight this, as we've got a yellow flag in sector 2 and 3. It does look like a McLaren. Let's go down to that. I don't know if they have managed to get back going. I think it was Broke Gorilla, and he's managed to get back up to speed, so that is nice to see. As we see another 3-second time penalty, but this time for Stinson. That's going to be good news for Drofter. We'll wait and see at the end of the race how the penalties fall everywhere, really. We've still got this nice little battle for 7th position currently, as we see Extremist, I think, having to back up a little bit on Codfish just to make sure he doesn't ruin his race with the front wing damage. As we see Optics has now been overtaken. I think this is where these soft compound tyres are really going to be struggling, as LH44 and Casey Jennett get past. Oh, he's not in the pits. That's why Callum Tyler's now gone onto hard compound tyres. So I think I will soon be seeing Optics dart into the pits, but we'll go on board with Spencer Milton, who really has come into his own in this race. He's right behind the leaders, but also catching this leading pack is IFR Stinson, who pitted on the first lap from first position. Walker's now fallen behind Drofter. Optics does pit, and so does Walker. I think this is where the soft compound tyres are all going to start pitting. I wonder if Extremist is going to come in as well. He's managed to get ahead of Codfish. He doesn't come in, and I think that is just because of the fact that he knew that Codfish would be. So the current standings are Jonathan Cox, Spencer Milton, and very close behind them, IFR Stinson. As we see, Jonathan Cox has completely lost it through that corner. He must have gotten way too much on the power coming through And this section we're coming up to now, and just binned it in the left-hand side of the wall. That is quite difficult, but luckily he is ghosted. It does mean that we have now got a safety car, so anyone who's just pitted is going to be really upset, I think. But it does mean that Stinson... I don't know what happened there. It does mean that Stinson, though, he's now into second place, but all these penalties are now going to start really taking effect, I feel. Right, let's see who's going to pit underneath this safety car. As we see, I think Spencer Milton and Stinson are now coming into the final sector. As we see, Fugitive has now got a 5-second time penalty for speeding under the safety car. We'll have to wait and see. I don't know exactly what happened with Jonathan Cox there. I'm waiting to see if anyone says anything. But Drofter and Stinson do... I think everyone is now coming into the pits as Spencer Milton gets a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. He's not going to be happy because he was then leading the race. Let's see, is Taylor going to come into the pits? He does. I think that's very good news for Extremist, who of course was on the soft compound tyres. He's coming into the pits as well. Jake Lee right behind him coming into the pits. Optics, however, decides not to because he's on new soft compound tyres. But he's not, I don't believe, going to come out into the lead of the race. He does come out into second, but not into first. It's still quite good for Optics, who was running in second position anyway. But, of course, Stinson is now... Well, I don't know what happened with Stinson there, but he is... a lot further back than I think we expected. Oh, it's because he had to pit straight after his teammate, that's why. Right, so let's have a little bit of a rundown on the current state of the grid. You've got Spencer in first position on new medium compound tyres. Optics right behind him on new, fairly new softs. And Drofter also on softs behind them. They're going to be rapid off the start, and I wouldn't be surprised if Spencer Milton gets taken off of the first line. You've then got Walker behind them, Stinson, Fire, Extremist, Taylor, Jake Lee, the DRS F1, Broke Gorilla, Callum Tyler, no I'm right, Casey, Codfish, LH44, Fugitive, and iStream, who I think is actually a AI driver at this moment in time. I'd be interested to see if LH44 manages to get higher than 15th at this point, but we still have a long way to go in this race. They're all going to be working on warming up their tyres to make sure that they, can get off the line. Really, can capitalise on what will be, I'm guessing, quite a hectic start. I think the safety car is waiting for everyone to be bunched up once more, as we see DRS SF1. Can't say that for my life, me. Going into the pits again. I think that's probably to get rid of his penalties. But let's have a look at the penalties. We've got Spencer Milton. Obviously has a 5-second. That will disappear once he's next in the pits. Optics with 6. That's 2 corner cutting infringements. So he's not going to be going. That's not going to be going anywhere. Drofter is probably in the best position at the moment with 0. Then you've got Walker again 5-second. Next pit stop that will disappear. Stinson, Fire, and Extremist all on 3 seconds. And then in the back markers you've got in bottom 10 you've got a lot of 3 seconds, and you've got Codfish with 12. I think that is 2. I think that's 1 5-second penalty, and no, that's not maths. That may just all be corner cut. 12 seconds in 10 laps is pretty impressive. He's on the way to getting disqualified, which is not good news. So to see Walker there really backing up Stinson, this could be a very interesting battle up front. You've got some incredibly fast drivers all within the top 10 really, but the top 7 especially. So still no word on the safety car coming in, so I think it will be another lap, and that's probably due to the fact that Fugitive is still catching up to the back of the pack. Yeah, I'm unsure exactly how this safety car restart's going to go, because obviously have they all gone? No, they're just catching up with each other. I just thought, because there was a big gap there, I thought they might have all bolted. Because yes, the safety car line obviously is quite further down, but you can't be overtaking until right at the end of this pit straight. And And that usually suggests that these drivers are going to almost be doing what Bottas did in Portugal, really backing up the pack by weaving and getting their tyre temperatures up and just waiting until almost they're literally at the line before just ramming it on the accelerator and trying to bolt off as fast as possible. Obviously, that start-finish line is very close to the first corner, so they might not be able to bolt off too quickly. But it'll be interesting to wait and find out, as we see there's some people passing out the back. I'm unsure exactly why this is, but Codfish seems to have gotten past LH44. Casey's all the way down in 15th now. I think LH44 was 15th. Obviously we know that DRS F1 has pitted, but I don't think anyone else has, so I'm not sure exactly what's happened here. We haven't had any new penalties for it, so I'm honestly unsure. I'm expecting the safety car to soon say that they're going to be coming in this lap. We are lucky that the fact that iStreams' car is still ghosted, as we see, yes, safety car is in this lap, because otherwise that could be a very difficult start from Fire, really. So we wait and see exactly when these front runners are going to completely bolt. We'll keep an eye on them. I think we'll probably go down to Drofter to begin with, because I think these guys are the ones who are most likely going to manage to get past Spencer if they're on the soft compound tyres. I think Spencer is thinking about bolting. I'm not sure. He is speeding up a fair bit. We'll wait and find out as we go down this very long back straight. I think they have all bolted very early, which is good news for us, as we see Drofter getting that line fairly wrong, but I think that was actually the it was a 3-second time penalty for Broke Gorilla. That's Fire now getting past iStreams. Obviously iStreams has been lapped anyway. Stinson is getting very close to Walker. It does look like we've still got a yellow flag out there. I'm unsure. Well, there we go, we've got green flag racing now, as we see Extremist has gone all the way back. I'm unsure what's happened there, but I think he's lost his front wing there. That's a shame for Extremist. He was doing very well in 7th position there. I don't think anyone else is going too slowly. Oh no, they are. As we see Stinson getting past Walker on his medium compound tyres. I think Walker probably just struggled there to really get some temperature in the tyres, but we'll wait and see, as Optics is really challenging Spencer here. He's on soft compound tyres. Let's see, can he make this stick, as Drofter also gets past Spencer. This is going to be an epic battle going through this final sector. I think really these two are going to be pushing each other. Only Drofter's using his overtake button. I think Spencer knows better, seeing as he is on medium compound tyres, that he's not going to get the traction through the end of the corner. So as we see Drofter finally getting his 3-second time penalty to match everyone else. He's now challenging Optics, who's got a bad line out of that corner. Optics has still got the inside line to this first corner, but he's now got the outside to the long sweeping right-hander, which gives Drofter the position. Spencer's right behind them. We're going to go down to LH44, who's made his way up from 15th to 10th. Extremist is still out there. He's not pitted, which surely suggests that he just had a big off in the first couple of corners. We're going to go up towards the middle of the grid as Broke Gorilla's obviously right on the tails of Fire here. He seems to be struggling a bit, but Stinson's now got past Spencer as well. We have a yellow flag through the middle sector, and it is Casey, but he seems to have managed to keep it going. We're going to go back up to the front runners now, and Stinson is catching Optics, even though Optics is on soft compound tyres. We know they only last about 7 or 8 laps. We know he's going to be starting to really feel it, even with the safety car. That is a difficult amount of time to go on soft compound tyres. We've got Drofter who's just kind of hoping he can push it as long as possible, but Stinson is catching them here. We're going to go down to Broke Gorilla, who's only 3/10 off Fire here. He's not got DRS just yet. He's going to have it at the end of this lap, but he is very much in striking distance of Fire here, trying to get himself up a position into 8th place. We'll see if there's any other battles going on, as we see that Taylor has just kind of fallen back within 3 seconds. Further than 3 seconds, as we see Broke Gorilla getting a nice run out of that corner. LH44 right behind him, but not exactly keeping up. An Extremist battling again to get himself back into the top 10. We know these guys are fast drivers when things go wrong, as we see Stinson getting past Optics with DRS, as we see Broke Gorilla getting another 3-second time penalty. we know that these guys, even when things go wrong, they can still make it work. We're going to stay on board with Optics here as he's about to go into another DRS zone. We'll then probably go down to LH44 as he gets into this DRS zone. I think Optics is too far away really with DRS here. He's not going to be gaining enough, I don't feel. We will keep an eye on that though, as we see Walker also gaining, but we really want to see how LH44 and Broke Gorilla do here, very close to Fire, who doesn't have DRS. It's not going to get anywhere really with that. There's a DRS train. Broke Gorilla doesn't get anywhere close to Fire, who and is obviously on a soft compound tyre as well, so his tyres are going to be going off. He may get him here going up the inside. He's looking at it, but I think he thinks better of it. We'll go down to Extremist as we see LH44 getting another 3-second time penalty. He's battling, I think, with LH44 quite a lot, as we see LH44 now outside of a second. Oh, he was, but he's not anymore, of the guys in front. IFR Simpson has lost touch of Drofter, and Optics has done exactly the same with him. That puts him very much at the mercy, I feel, at Spencer. Has seen Walker's right on his coattails as well. We'll keep an eye on this one as they're about to go through another DRS zone of this back straight. We know they can probably make up around 4/10 through here. Obviously Spencer is within DRS zone of Optics. I don't know whether he was of the detection zone. He is, so that's going to be good news for him, which is probably going to nullify any fighting that he's going to do with Spencer. But LH44 has now gone past Broke Gorilla, who seemed to have a very bad run through that sector. He's right behind LH44. He's not, I was going to say, he's not going to try it going through, and he completely clatters his front wing. And he's now out of the race. That is going to be a safety car. To be honest, Broke Gorilla, that looked quite a lot like he'd messed his exit into that corner, broke his front wing, and then lost control of the car and really just planted it into the right-hand side. So that is another safety car there. That's going to undo a lot of the good work that Stinson and Drofter have done. However, it may be a bit of respite for Optics and the rest of the soft compound runners, because they're going to be wanting to pit, I feel now, off their soft compound tyres anyway. So I think that's going to be good news. It's very grey. Yeah. I don't know if we're going to get rain. I don't know if it's going to come early enough, even if it did. But it is certainly the kind of climate that can accept it quite a lot. So we'll wait and find out. As everyone, I think, is now in the pits. I think even the medium compound runners, they do not want to risk the soft guys being on much better tyres. I think that's probably the smart thing to do, as we see Spencer Milton go completely through on medium compound tyres. So does Walker. I think Stinson was probably reacting to Drofter there, as we see Taylor also go through. Most people behind them have them pitted, but Callum Tyler doesn't pit as well. Walker gets a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting under the safety car. Don't know how you do that. Right, so we've still got, so Stinson now is on a different strategy to Drofter. Stinson's managed to leapfrog Drofter in the pits. That is monumental, I think, for that battle out front, especially since now Stinson's on soft compound tyres and the only people in front of him are on old mediums. Now he will have to pit again, whereas I think maybe the medium compound runners, let's have a think, you've got 16 laps left. It would be a push, but the medium compound runners may try and get to the end of the race without pitting. I think he'd be losing way too much time to whatever tyre Stinson goes on to when he pits again. But Drofter might try it. Optics is on mediums as well. Callum Tyler stays out, obviously, on these 10-lap old hards. Jake Lee on mediums, so is Fire, so is LH44, who's obviously still in the points. DRSF1 is on 3-lap old medium tyres, so he didn't pit. The Extremist did on his new medium tyres, and of course Codfish, Fugitive and Ice Dreams all pitted the lap prior to the safety car coming out. So that's backing up a fair amount between Fugitive and... oh, Fugitive's in 15th, that's why. I was like, what's happening there? Yes, Fugitive is in 15th. So Stinson's going to be really hoping to get a good run through the at the end of the safety car period. So we will wait and see. I can update you a little bit on what's happened with iStream. So iStream seems to have left the stream, but his car's still out there, and that was what the cause was for both Fire and Extremist losing a lot of positions at the start of the last safety car. So then it may be a case of at the end of the race, their 5-second penalties that they may have got, or some of the penalties that they may have had, gets taken off, but we will have to wait and see. So with this current running grid, it does look like that Stinson is in the hot seat. Really, he's going to be wanting to get the best start possible. He's going to have Drofter very close behind him. He doesn't want to stay too long out with this safety car, because otherwise his soft compound tyres are just going to keep wearing. As much as, yes, you're not going to wear them anywhere near as much on behind the safety car, you do not want to push it too much further than what you normally would anyway. He's likely to get to around lap 25, which is going to give him 10 laps left. He's not going to want to do that on soft compound tyres. It will be a new medium compound tyre that I feel like he'll go to. If Drofter is going to pit again, he's probably going to go to a soft. So that's really going to hurt Stinson's race if he can't get a good gap. As we see now, the safety car has gone in. I didn't realise it was going to come in that early. Taylor has gotten a terrible run through that corner, giving Stinson the opportunity to overtake him, which he does. We've got Jake Lee, who's also overtaking Callum Tyler on new mediums compared to old hards. I think that they're the only overtakes so far. Drofter is right behind Taylor. Let's see if he can make any inroads, otherwise he's just going to keep losing time. He's already a second behind Stinson, which is not going to be what he wants. So we see more penalties dished out. Now everyone has got definitely a penalty. Walker is obviously still out in front. He's managed to gap a 1.5 second gap to Stinson, which is good for him, but of course there has been overtakes. We'll go down to how Fire's Callum Tyler and LH44 have all been battling now. It's 3 wide through that corner there. Fire gets another 3-second time penalty. There's a yellow flag in sector 2, and I think it's iStreams who has caused it. I'm unsure exactly why. It's a very wide line. Extremist goes right up the inside, sees a gap, and just goes for it there on Callum Tyler. Callum Tyler went very wide through that corner. Fire and LH4 have kind of bolted off a little bit, but they're still within a second of each other. We'll keep on board with Fire as we see Drofter getting another 3-second time penalty. It's not exactly what you want. He's still stuck right behind Taylor, so he's not going to be very happy, and of course Optics is right behind him still. I think every second that Drofter gets caught behind Taylor, it's just allowing Stinson, who is now 2 and almost 3 seconds ahead, to completely leave the battle. So LH44 is still right behind Jake Lee, who's now dropped 3 seconds behind Optics. There's been an overtake between Casey and Callum. I think Callum, who's very much struggling on those tyres. You see Stinson's caught up that 1.5 seconds on Walker and now has completely overtaken him. So let's see, is Stinson going to manage to take Spencer now? Obviously that gear issue is just down to the stream quality more than anything else. Stinson is now only within 4/10 of Spencer. So let's see, is he going to make this overtake easy? We'll go down to Drofter, who seems to be battling still, as we see Stinson get quite easily past Spencer there. Drofter is still battling with Taylor, as I think he's going to get past him here. He's got the outside line. Taylor does think better and backs out of it, thinking, oh, I can get a better line then through the final corner. I don't think he's able to, because that's then allowed Optics to now overtake him. We'll now go back down towards LH44, Extremist and Fire, and they all fight with Jake Lee for the battle of 7th place. Obviously this goes currently down to 10th position, but now actually Casey has also joined it, as we see Casey's backed out a little bit as Extremist gets past him into 9th position. Don't know what exactly happened with Fire there, because he seemed to just completely drop them. Seemed to be an issue there. So LH44 is still right on the tails of Jake Lee. He's going to have DRS through this zone. It's not going to be enough, I don't think, to get anywhere close to him, but it will set him up nicely going into the final DRS zone. We're keeping our eye on Walker and Spencer then, still battling for 2nd place. They're now about to go down into that big DRS zone. so we'll soon wait and find out if they can get it. Jake Lee goes very wide through that corner, and I think that's kind of allowed LH44 just to get within striking distance now with this DRS. Is he going to be able to overtake him? He's using his overtake button. He's completely unable to get within Jake Lee. Jake Lee must have used a lot of ERS then to stay in front. That's of course allowed Extremist, in cases we see Fire's now gone out. I'm unsure exactly where. Oh, he's retired into the pits, so I'm unsure what happened there. So Callum and DRSF1 are now fighting. Callum goes very wide through that corner. In fact, completely cuts it, I'd say. He's stuck on overtake, I feel. No, he's not. Okay, so we're going to go back up towards the middle of the pack with LH44 being the closest other than Walker, and Jake Lee gets a terrible run through that corner. He's going to absolutely nab him here with DRS. Jake Lee can do absolutely nothing to fight off LH44. Is now up into 7th position. Can he get back into the top 5? We'll have to wait and see. He's going to Jake Lee's still going to be very close to the back of Extremist, really. Well, back of LH44, but Extremist getting to the back of him. As we see Codfish overtake DRSF1. Oh, DRSF1 has had a very big incident there, so I'm unsure exactly what's happened. We see Drofter's now passed Walker. A lot of people, I think, are just outside of the 1 second zone. We've got LH44 getting a bad run there. Extremist looking up to the inside, but I don't think he's going to try to. That's, I think, DRSF1 still running very slowly. I think he's going to be pitting this lap. I think his medium compound tyres have completely lost it. Walker has obviously pitted onto the soft compound tyres. Jake Lee gets another 3-second time penalty. We're going to stay on board here with Extremist. As much as Drofter is right on the back of Spencer Milton, it's not going to be enough, I don't think. Let's have a just quick look. No, he's not. Sector 3 yellow flags. That's still the DRS F1. Extremist is very close behind LH44 there, yes, so DRS F1 has retired from the session. So Extremist is very close behind LH44, but LH44 is now back behind Jake Lee. I'm not sure exactly what happened there. I think we were keeping our eyes on exactly what was happening at the back of the race, and we've missed what happened at the front of it. So Drofter has gotten past Spencer Milton. You've got LH44 now pressing on Jake Lee, who doesn't still get enough through that corner. LH44 gets a very bad run through the, the final chicane and almost goes into the wall. Champions on the right hand side. So we will wait and see exactly how LH44, if he can get past him. Obviously Jake Lee and him are having a titanic battle here for 6th position. The only other, well, this is the only close really battle on the field at this moment in time. Obviously Walker is catching the back of Callum Tyler quite rapidly. We will probably have a watch of that in a second, as LH44 goes very wide there. Casey, and well, Extremist gets past him. Casey's going to have a nice run on him here, I think, as well. He's going to look to the inside, I think, here, but it's not going to be enough. LH44 goes very deep there. Extremist is now on the back of Jake Lee. Can he make any inroads that LH44 wasn't able to? Let's see as they run through the hairpin now. He gets very close to his diffuser there, manages to brake in time. Doesn't get as good of an exit as Jake Lee had, but obviously will now have the power of DRS. He's not got any ERS left, but nor has Jake Lee. I don't think this is going to be enough for him to overtake. He does have a quick look on the insides. Optics now gets past Spencer, who's now in the pits. So we're now getting into that zone where Stinson is going to be wanting to pit, but we see here Jake Lee getting very much out of sorts, going through that chicane. As we see there, he just get absolutely tagged from behind from the Extremist. I think that's because Extremist got tagged behind from LH44. He's going to probably have to pit there because he's now lost more of his front wing. Casey just goes completely wide and wild through that corner. Can we? Has LH44 got any damage? It doesn't look like he quite has at this point. I think Extremist will be pitting this lap anyway for a front wing change, because he looked like he was really struggling there. He's already a second and a half behind. Jake Lee is very much under pressure here from LH44. He's managed to survive that tap. As much as it sent him a little bit off, it has meant that yeah, it has meant that LH44 is right on his coattails. He's still we're still outside of 7/10 now. He got a very bad exit there of the final corners. We see Stinson is now pitted, as I kind of expected, off the soft compound tyres. Where is he going to come out? Is he going to come into this battle? As we see Taylor is also pitted from in front. So has Extremist hasn't pitted, so I was waiting to see there for Extremist to pit. Let's see, where does Stinson come out? I think they're going to come out behind this battle. He has, I think, had a 5-second time penalty taken off him there. So it will be interesting to see where he pops himself out. He's going to have to do a lot of battling to get back. He has come back out on soft compound tyres, which is going to do wonders for him, I think, when you have the likes of Drofter and Optics and Jake Lee, who are now in the top 3, who are now all who are now all on very old medium compound tyres. But the chasing pack is now Walker, Spencer and Stinson, who are all on soft compound tyres, who were fairly new. I think Walker's going to be really pushing that soft tyre to get to the end of the race. I think he may manage to do it, but I think it's going to be very difficult for him come the final laps, especially when the likes of Spencer and Stinson are right behind him. So we'll stay on board, I think, with Taylor's going to be getting, I think, quite close to Codfish through this sector. He's got a much better line. Let's see. So we see Casey is overtaken. Oh, these people are now in the pits. Fugitive has now completely, I think, broken his car in the middle of sector 2. So yes, Taylor does get past quite comprehensively Codfish there. Let's see where Extremist and that lot come out. LH44 comes out in 10th. Oh, is he going to get into 8th still? He does get ahead of them, so he gets out into 8th position. Jake Lee's got another 3-second time penalty, but Walker and Casey, something's happened there with Casey. He's completely ghosting. Sorry, I was just checking the chat to see if anything could come up, but it hasn't. There does seem to be an issue there with Casey, because he's completely ghosted, so he's now down in 6th position, which brings Walker back up to 4th. Oh, that's why Casey had clocked out, but Stinson's now gotten past him as well. I do think it was only a matter of time before the likes of Walker, Spencer and Stinson gotten past Casey, but I think he'd have preferred it to happen a lot later. Spencer is right behind Walker here. He's going to overtake him, I think, quite easily up the inside. He's not. He does leave it very late, so he backs out of the move quite early there. So Spencer, is he going to go up the inside this time? He just breaks enough to keep his front wing from outside of it in Walker. That is going to allow the likes of Stinson, I think, to catch up a little bit. So I think that is probably the closest battle on the grid at the moment, other than Taylor and LH44. We will wait and see how this one pans out. I think I know there's DRS zone coming up currently for Spencer and Walker, but I don't think he's anywhere near close enough for it. I think we'll have to wait until the end of sector 2 to see exactly where these guys filter out in terms of positions. We've got another virtual safety car there. Codfish, I did see he'd gone out of the race. It did seem to happen in the middle sector. Callum Tyler's gotten past him, so I didn't manage to see exactly what had happened. We can't see what the time difference is there, which is a bit of a shame. We'll take this time though to have a look at penalties, as we see Drofter has got 6 seconds, but nothing on the two behind him on 12, as Jake Lee and Optics get past him. That was weird. So Optics is pitted. Oh, here we go, the timing screen's coming back. Do apologise, guys, timing screens are now coming back, so we're able to see now exactly what's happening from the pit. I don't know what's happening here with connection, but he's got, as I said, he's got a 12-second time penalty compared to Spencer's 3 and Stinson's 6. So Walker and Spencer here are looking very nice with only 3-second time penalties each, especially if you've got the likes of another virtual safety car here. It's not going to be enough, as we now have a green flag. I honestly don't know what's happening here. It seems to be the connection seems to be messing up. That's a very late dive bomb, really, from Optics. Spencer does well to keep out of the way of it, but I think that's him not managing to keep his tyres too warm So we're back under green flag running. We do have DRS for the likes of Optics and Spencer in front, but Spencer, this has got a great view here of Spencer just completely running Walker off, and just, well, as in completely running past Walker. I think that's front wing damage though for Optics. I'm unsure exactly what happened there, but it looked like he got a little bit of front wing damage on his right hand side. He is keeping up though with these two in front, so Spencer's now onto the podium, which is good for him. Jake Lee's obviously only 3 seconds behind in front of him. We're going to go on board now with so Extremist has gone past LH44 on due to LH44 pitting. I doubt we'll see many more pit stops, as we see Walker still 5 tenths behind, Optics 4 tenths behind him, and Stinson very close behind him. So I think what has happened here is it's actually the internet connection between the host and everyone else. We see Optics, no, Stinson, yes, Stinson go up the inside of Optics there, doing basically what Optics tried to do on Spencer the lap before. So Stinson is now in front. He's now got DRS once again. He's 5th position. Can he get any higher? We'll just have to wait and see. We know that Walker and Spencer are only on 3-second time penalties, so this might not be an on the track battle that we see really, because Stinson is going to be a lot further behind these guys once penalties take place. But obviously they're on a lot fresher tyres, and Walker, I think he's starting to struggle on his 8-lap-old soft compound tyres. We know that the soft tyres start to really fall off the cliff around 8 laps, even when there's been a safety car. But Spencer is now only 9 tenths behind Jake Lee, so this pack has now caught up with the likes of Jake Lee. We've got Optics, who obviously is down in 6th, and this is now a battle for 2nd that's spanning all the next 5 runners, should say. So we'll have to wait and find out exactly how this is going to go. Optics on by far the freshest of tyres out of all of them, but I don't think that's going to do much when you've got a DRS train the size of this. So Spencer, can he get past the 14-lap-old medium tyres of Jake Lee? I think that's a bit of a easy question to answer really. Jake Lee comes back on. That was an awkward move. I think it'll be unlucky if Spencer has got on front wing damage there, but he may just have done. Stinson gets another 3-second time penalty. He's also going to overtake Jake Lee here, I think. We're going to go on board with Jake Lee and watch as Stinson goes up the inside. He's trying to get out of the way, I think. He knows that he's going to be a very easy person to overtake. Walker is up on the outside there, and Jake Lee has just let Optics through as well. So that has sorted that out. This is no longer a battle for 2nd with the top 6, but it's a battle for 2nd with now up until 5th position, because I think Jake Lee's just going to keep falling behind. Can Stinson get the on the track 2nd position? I think it's safe to say that Drofter has done well enough to stay out in 1st. He's really going to start falling away though, I think. I don't think he's enough to get 15 seconds back on him in 3 laps, but he is going to be very much struggling for traction, I think, through some of these corners, and may just spin like we saw, or go too deep like we saw Vettel do in 2011. So Stinson's got a good run here on Spencer. Is he going to be able to overtake him? There's a yellow flag in sector 3. I think that is Walker who has spun off. Stinson has gotten in front. I think we'll go down to Walker, who has indeed spun his old soft compound tyres a bit too much, and just, I think, got on a bit of wheel spin going through the final hairpin and spun. I think there's no other word other than spinala, really. I think it's a very Vettel thing. He is pitting. I think he's probably going to go for the fastest lap. It's not good for his championship bid, but what is good is the fact that Jonathan Cox, his championship rival, I'd say, going up into what he was hoping to for 2nd position, is also out. But Drofter, who is our current championship leader here on Thursday nights, is out in the lead. He is leading by quite a lot, and I think it's safe to say he's going to win. I don't want to curse it, of course I don't, but I think it's safe to say. So Spencer has now dropped a 2nd. He was outside of a 2nd to Stinson. I think he's done well to get within a 2nd once again, and I think that will mean that he's going to get DRS again. Let's wait and see, because if he doesn't, that could mean Optics, who's got a better run, he doesn't get DRS. Optics does behind him. This could now mean that Spencer could very likely come out into come out into third position. Sorry, I laughed a little bit because I just saw Fire send a meme about people's driving through the final last 5 to 10 laps. But we'll wait and see exactly how this turns out. Obviously, penalties will affect things. Stinson, who's obviously out in front at the moment of Spencer, he's not going to get, I think, the required time ahead of him with Spencer. I think still only having the 3-second time penalty. Obviously, Optics right behind him. He's going to hope for the on-track third position. I don't think he's going to get it here, but he might on the next DRS zone if he manages to keep his tyres active when you've got the likes of Spencer, who's on 9-lap hold, going to be struggling, just like we saw Walker struggle. It could be interesting to find out. So, as you see here, going through this big hairpin just before the start of this giant DRS sector, DRS straight, should I say, he has got a little bit of a worse run, which has allowed Spencer to just steam off. This is not going to be enough for Optics as Drofter passes the line. Optics still can't do enough, so the on-track winner, of course, the winner overall is Drofter. Stinson comes home in second, but that is relegated down to third with Spencer finishing second. It's a good race from him. Optics in fourth, another good race. Jake Lee, who overtakes him due to penalties. Taylor, who doesn't have any penalties, he might do quite well here. He was 14 seconds behind. He does come out into fourth. I did say he might do quite well. That is very well indeed. Extremist comes home, I think, currently on track 7th. Let's see how he does in terms of penalties, as Casey then comes home in 8th position. That's another good race from the top 7. He stays in 8th. Callum Tyler comes home in 9th. He does stay 9th, I think. Stinson now left the session. But let's see, as the final classification comes through, exactly how this leaderboard pans out and exactly who got the worst penalties. Drofter definitely deserves the the driver of the day. He finished qualifying in last, didn't he? So he went from last to first, which of course we only saw happen once before, which was with Perez in Sakir. So that's quite a monumental occasion for him. He's driven absolutely beautifully all day. It's a shame we didn't get to go on board with him too much because he wasn't in many battles. We'll soon wait and find out exactly what happened behind him. Of course, you've got the 2 AlphaTauris on the podium. It's a very good result for them. They're going to be happy in the Constructors' Championship. As we see the celebrations go off. Let's see. So, Drofter in first, Spencer in second, Stinson in third, Taylor in fourth, Jake Lee in fifth, Optics sixth, 7th for Extremist, Walker is in 8th, Callum Tyler is in 9th, Casey is in 10th, LH44 in 11th, iStream's in 12th, although he didn't actually finish. Codfish, Fugitive, DRSF1, Fire, Broke Gorilla and Jonathan Cox all DNFs, but who got the most penalties? It does look like Codfish got 18, but I think of the finishers it was Callum Tyler. Oh no, it was Casey and LH44 with 11. Anyway, thank you very much, guys. Thank you all for joining. I hope you enjoyed the Grand Prix. Please subscribe if you're new. As I said, check out the link in the description. But I've been Nat Craig. You've been you. Thank you very much.